Hey
Hi!
y'all, welcome to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn, and yes, she does sound like that. She didn't go sing today.
I lost my voice. I woke up with sounding like a baritone. Don't know what happened. We think it's because of allergies and that I just have a lot of phlegm and mucus covering my vocal cords because it doesn't hurt. It just does take more effort to pass air over my vocal cords.
The vocal cords are solidifying.
So I'm hoping that that's all this is. And considering I did take allergy meds this morning and it was better.
It was better.
Earlier. This could just be exhaustion and the fact that, like, I'm probably towards the end of the allergy meds.
Right.
12 hours.
That's the other thing I was going to do. I was going to walk over to Walgreens and get more allergy meds.
You didn't tell me that, so.
All right. I got two things.
Check in on that.
I got two things. One thing. Tomorrow we have to take your dad's car in. To get fixed, and I need to go to Walgreens to get more allergy meds. So, I have a finished object.
Well, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as TooLizzForYou, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
And I'm CPREDMOR on Ravelry. I hardly ever look for any information. No, that's not true. I'm there probably every other day looking at the patterns that are free for a short while. And I really have stopped picking up everything. I have started really focusing on sweaters. A couple hats, but mostly sweaters. Someone had a buy this pattern for Ukraine, and I actually bought it, and I can't remember what it was. So a number of designers have patterns that they are putting out.
Donating proceeds.
And they're donating the proceeds to organizations that are sending either funds or supplies to Ukraine. There's also UNICEF. We had that information at church today. And we're Episcopalians, so there's the United Episcopal Relief Fund that you can also go online and designate that it's to go to the Ukraine Relief Fund. I'm sure most denominations would have something like that.
There's also, I think, Sunflowers for Peace, which is a specifically Ukrainian organization.
But I'm saying that there's a subset within the charity that this you can designate.
But yeah,
so I did buy. I was on a tear. First of all, I had non-gluten biscuits today that worked out well. I was amazed. I used a different flour. A friend of mine, who we went and see last weekend, was it? Yes, last weekend. Told me she uses cup for cup, and she was making popovers and all kinds of stuff. So I took the rather wretched biscuit recipe that I used 4 weeks ago, something like that. Remade it with the new flour, and then within the recipe it calls for eggs, which I use the egg whites, and heavy cream. And you're supposed to just mix it together. Well, I beat them together until I got a light froth. I did not wait till I got whipped cream, but I did get a light froth. So there was a little bit of body starting. And then instead of mixing it in, I folded it into the pre-stirred dry ingredients, which went really well. I mean, the dry ingredients melded really well with the heavy cream and egg whites. And it took almost no time at all. Then it used parchment paper and kind of pat it out. I used a glass to make the biscuits. I have now sent away 4 biscuit cutters because my biscuits got caught in the glass. And then I had to use a knife to kind of pick them out. And gluten flour mixtures are not as sticky as regular batters, so the biscuit tends to fall apart if you disturb it. So I went on Amazon, and I think it was $6, and I got biscuit cutters. And what else did I do? Oh, they were having a sale on popover pans, so I bought a popover pan. And there's a couple other things. Lands' End is also having a sale on women's silk turtlenecks. And I got a summer dress for $37. Yes, it's a tiered maxi that looks very much like what's being shown in the fashion magazines these days.
Nice.
In terms of
summer fashions.
Alexander McQueen. No, I mean specific designers. So anyway, I picked that up, and that will be arriving. Your father will go, oh, look, another box for Carolyn. So the box for Carolyn today came with soap, because we get the soap for sensitive skin, and sometimes you get to the grocery, you can't find any of this stuff. So I also got that online, as well as Swiss water extraction decaf coffee. Rather than using chemicals to decaffeinate the coffee, they use a water method. And I didn't go into great detail about exactly the difference, but apparently this is supposed to be much better for me. I believe it's...
As per Sue, or as per...
No, as per
doctor?
reading various things. And I believe it's the caffeine that tends to amp up your blood pressure.
Yes, which is why I'm trying to cut down on my caffeine consumption, because we all know the troubles Mom has been with. My grandmother,
but as long
we've
as I
discussed,
don't go without my clothes or my underwear, you should be fine.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm trying to watch out for it, because I also am the type of person who does not get affected by caffeine in a energy sense.
Right.
The having a cup of tea in the morning, or having that jolt of caffeine in the morning, I think is more of a
habit.
Yeah, it's more of a habit than anything else, especially in the office. If I don't have my tea, something is wrong with my day. Like, it just doesn't start right if I don't have my tea. But I think it's more of a, like, because that is part of my routine of starting my day. So I have been I asked at the office because they have seltzers and Diet Coke at the office, I was like, can we get like ginger ale or Sprite or something, because I do keep Mountain Dew in my desk for if I have a migraine, but I need to not go for that.
Right, just because you're thirsty.
Or you want something more than water. I find when my allergies are really acting up, I want something that has a taste to it so that I'm not tasting mucus. Sorry for the TMI, but Yeah. So I would rather have a soda or something, or tea, and I'm not trying to cut down on the tea, I'm trying to make sure that I don't overdo the tea.
Right.
But at this point, it's also, like, it was very funny, because I was like, all right, because we know what issues
happens to me
Grandma has, and we know what has happened to you. I'm trying to be proactive.
Which may be very situational.
It could be.
It could have just been a trigger, and there it is.
Right.
So it's down quite a bit. I mean, it's down within normal levels.
I'm just trying to be preventative.
We have found that my iced tea at night keeps me from snacking at night, so it's actually cutting down on my calories, and I've managed to lose about 5 pounds so far. And then we went to my friend Sue's, where I gained God knows what, but I've lost all of that, so that's good. So as of tomorrow, we're starting from where I was before we went to see Sue. Okay, so that's good. Yes, it is. Yeah. So my mother seems to be doing okay. I mean, she's not leaving her apartment. She's decided, I said, well, did you go out to the dining room to eat your meals? And she said, no, there's 2 men out there.
Oh, lovely.
Really? Okay. Don't sit at their table. I know that there are at least 6 tables there. There's only 2 men, so they can't be at every table. I'm sure
Doesn't she have friends there too? So she
could different buildings. No, different buildings.
Different buildings. Oh, no.
And since she's not, when I left, she wasn't changing her clothes.
Yeah.
I don't think she wants to see her friends. Now, when she was in the apartment, all she could do was talk about her friends.
Yeah, I know.
But
okay.
We're leaving that alone. I talked to her on the phone today. She seemed very peppy. She told me it was sunny down there, but chilly, but she hadn't been outside. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I said, well, I've been out to church. I sang in the choir. I made some biscuits. I'm telling you, I was really excited about these biscuits.
She called me. She was so excited about these biscuits.
Well, let's face it. The previous ones were hockey pucks.
They were fine. They were edible.
And how about these?
These are very good.
These are tasty.
Damn fine.
Yeah.
Damn fine biscuits.
Yeah. That's the difference. I I mean, I had to leave them in the kitchen, and I had to be in some other part of the house because I easily, when they were warm, I could have eaten all 15 of them. And so anyway, I was quite pleased. So that was cup for cup flour, and it's the recipe that I got online that has heavy cream, and
we use this soy cream, right?
No, actually, I use regular cream because I'm baking. It changes the character.
And we didn't have a reaction?
No, that's what I'm saying. You change the reaction with that chemical, with the transformation in the baking process.
Okay.
That's why I can eat regular bread. Yeah. I can't have regular.
Oh, well, I guess because then you used egg whites. If you had used regular eggs, that would have been too much of both things.
Probably.
Well, because we can't do... I guess the butter doesn't change as much as milk.
It doesn't change as much. No, that oily consistency seems to change. And some of the cookies that don't use that much butter, I can eat and be fine. It's the double death by chocolate cookies that are
they're great,
but almost a pound of butter that I can't have because the butter translates through.
I can't do almost any cookies. I have to have like.
And there's another butter that is plant-based. And I have this. I took a picture of it on my phone. Sue's getting it at Stop and Shop. Okay. Anyway, so Mom seems to be doing fine. I don't know when we're going to be down next because I'm singing through Easter. And, we're trying to build up the repertoire so that we can have a good Easter Sunday. But I talked to her on the phone. She seems really chipper. Told her I made the biscuits. Told her you all were coming over. And at that point, she says, "Always great talking to you. Goodbye." Yeah. So she's chipper. I can tell she's been eating. Okay. What else is going on? I don't know, but I haven't had phone calls from anybody else. So I think we're doing okay. We will probably go down. We may go down. Maybe I don't know. Your father's racing that. We'll go down sometime in May. Maybe my birthday will go down in May.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, when do you want to go down? Because I figured we would all, like, I figured it would be at least the three of us who would go.
You get back from the wedding, we'll figure it out. Okay. Because after Easter, I'd like to take a 2-week break. So, anyway, what else? Is there anything else? Now can we talk about my finished object?
Yeah.
Okay,
we just had to get through the intro, ma'am.
Yes. This is the Ember, and this is size small. There is a definite front and back, so with short rows in the back. Let's see if I can turn. You want to point to the short rows?
Short rows are right here.
Yes. So, easy to figure out front from back. I have elongated the sweater to make it a tunic. So this section here, this navy blue section is extra. The purple section is extra, as is this bottom white and blue section with color work. So this would have come up to here, and this would have come up to here. So it would have been a short-ish, more cropped top sweater than I have it. I prefer tunics, so I can wear leggings and run out the door and get the newspaper, etc. Do I wish I could have made it a little bit skimpier? I think, but I'm not a big sweater person.
You're not a positive ease person. Right. You are a big sweater person.
Yes. Okay. I don't like a lot of positive ease. This isn't a huge amount. And I certainly...
And also when it blocks, it might grow... You can have it grow lengthwise instead of...
I could have it grow lengthwise. I could also put it in the dryer.
Yeah.
And shrink it up a little bit. So the answer is we'll see. Or put it in the washer with a little detergent. And shrink it a little bit like I did my black and white sweater, which did not felt to nothingness. It felted to... It's a decent size now. Yeah. So I'm very happy with it. This was a whip. It had been for the Oracle shawl. And I came to the realization that, maybe one Stephen West shawl a year is all the shawl I really need. if that, but his are fun. So rather than make the Oracle shawl, I made an Ember. And I do like the colors. I'm very pleased with the colors. I did not have enough of this blue. I actually found another blue that I used on my sleeves.
Very similar.
And down at the hems.
Very similar.
And it's fine. So I'm lucky that it's somewhat, it's a yarn that has some gradation in it so that you really don't notice that there may be a difference in dye lots, etc. So I'm very pleased. Very, very pleased with it. I've already worn it last Thursday to choir practice. It's quite warm. I will tell you that it's quite warm. But I'm very pleased. And I love the color combinations. I am quite excited about the colors that I chose. So that was good. What would you like to talk about?
Well, we all know I finished the Stephen West Slipstravaganza last week. I have now blocked it. It is now in my apartment. I forgot to bring it, but it's huge. I do think it will go well with the dress I'm going to wear this coming up weekend at a friend's wedding, so I'm going to bring it for that.
Well, that'll be nice on the plane, too.
It should be nice. So what I did when I finished it was I picked up
this past
2021. Year's, 2021. So Shawlography. And we all remember that I had
green.
I had some greens in it, so I had frogged back to the medallion, as I like to call it. So I finished the stripy V section.
Looks really nice.
And then I did the loops, and now I'm setting up for... So I've completed clue 1. I'm now on to clue 2. So I am still working on it in that way, because you can still download them as the clues. I think I do have a few other things that I could be working on, but right now this is what I think I'm gravitating towards because of that, because each clue has some sections to it, and you can feel accomplishment when you complete even just a part of a section.
Sure.
Like every time I completed one of the colors here, it was an accomplishment.
Sure.
So that's what I've been working on. The cough is just due to exhausting of my voice. But yeah, that's a big thing. And then when I got here, I cut out the rest of the lining and the exterior fabric for my cape, and I started sewing the darts in the lining because they are physically marked on the lining. However, I am going to have to thread mark it on the fabric, or else I think I would have had it done a lot sooner if it didn't have these darts. But I think the darts are really what make the cape.
It's important. It makes the ties be the way they are. So
I'm not going to get it done to take with me this weekend, but that's okay because I can...
Well, when you come back to finish that, then we can work on my pirate shirt.
Yes.
We didn't have my pirate shirt. We were watching the Villanova game today. They won. It got as close as 2 points. They won, I think, with 5 points to spare.
No, they won with like 10.
10, right, 10. It was close in the second half. And my friend Sue, who is another Villanova alumna, was texting me back and forth during the game. So we had done our best. I mean, she had her snacks out. She was making Philadelphia cheesesteaks. She was...
Her husband is from Ohio and had said, and we played Ohio today, and her husband had said, well, maybe I'll root for them. And she goes, you want to sleep out in the garage?
Really? You really don't want to live in this house anymore? He goes, maybe I'll change my mind about that. Anyway, when I finished this, which was a whip and a now I finished object, I went back to my church shawl. And I am 2 rows away from finishing.
Yeah, give me just a second. I'm sorry.
Another one of these.
Wow. Wow, Mom.
Another one of these medallions.
Wow.
I have, when I finish this one, I will have 2 more to go, and that should finish the center section.
Wow.
So this is what it looks like. I have been working on it like a fiend. I think you can tell.
So, and then you pick up on the edges, or do you do an applied?
I think you knit it separately and then you sew it on.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I think it's so hard to see the edges. I mean, we're talking about yarn.
I know, it's thread. It's thread.
It's thread.
It's beautiful.
So, and having taken this in a class, I can tell you that there we made the center section and of a square, and then we made the outside border, and then we sewed it together.
Okay.
Which sounds more work than you need, but it was just so hard to, see in advance the kind of spacing you would need to be able to turn the corner without having it too gathered or not gathered enough. So we'll see how far I get. I'd love to be able to report. Let's see, we won't see you next weekend because you're away. So hopefully by the next time I see you all, I will have finished the center section. Hopefully. That would be great, because that would put me on target then for doing the border through April and applying it. And I know that, during the center it's like 1 for 1, and then it goes 2 of the border to 1 of the center, and then it goes to 3, and you slowly make the round about the corner. So I'm going to make it separate. I'm going to do as the pattern suggests. Again, I'm doing this for the church, so I'd like to have it as good as I can possibly make it. I've had fewer missed loops with my pointy needles than I had with the less pointy needles. I may eventually get to using high highs. I tried using the crochet hook technique, and this yarn is so slippy on these needles that are pointy that I easily could lose the shawl from having stitches drop, and they drop very quickly. There's not a lot of stickiness to this yarn. It will come apart. I got it here. It'll come apart pretty easily, I think, because it's the diameter of a thread. So I'm soldering on, hopefully a pattern a week, and we'll get it done. That would be really nice. Really very, very nice. Do you have anything else you want to report on?
No.
What's in that bag?
That's the thing I can't talk about.
Oh, all right. Well,
it's a sweater that I've been working on. That was a test knit, and now just waiting on release. I have not finished it. I am working on it. But
well, I also work when my eyes get too tired to work on the lace. I then turn, and after I finish this, I turn to the Woolf sweater. This is the collar. So this is actually, I think, what holds it together. So this is the part that's the only pullover part. So I'm gonna hand apply this collar when I get the sweater done. But I certainly can get it on over my head and over my glasses, so that's a real plus. I'm now working on the sleeves, and I have done a second color change. Actually, I did the second color change in the collar. I frogged it down to where I had done just one color. I have already been through one of my advent calendar colors, and just at the bottom edge, I switched to another color, and you can barely see it. Now I got this much done on the sleeves. The sleeves are knit flat. So, again, when my eyes get tired, I'm going to work on the Woolf. And this is using up one of my advent calendars.
And Miss Babs.
And some of Miss Babs. And I have other advent calendars I can add in if I need. So one thing I am going to try is I'm going to try casting on provisionally at about bust level, about an inch below the armhole, and going up, because this is a bottom-up sweater. But because it's a bottom-up sweater, you need to know how long you want to make it before you start at the bottom. Well, since I don't know how much yarn I actually have, I would like to start here and go up, do the shoulders, be able to put my sleeves in, attach the collar, and then go down. I don't see a problem with that. So I'm going to do a provisional cast on at about bust level and go up, and then take apart the provisional at the cast on, and then go down from there, and then work as long as I have yarn. And I think that that'll work out fairly well, because I don't have quite as much of the lace as is suggested, but you know, we'll go for as long as we can. And I'm using up stash. So I would like that after I finish the shawl for the church, I've got all this yarn over here that I had gotten out of storage, or the storage bags, when I got the yarn out for the church shawl, that I said, this is what I want to work on and get, rather than having to pack it back in again. It obviously hasn't been touched. I have gotten some of the whips done. That's a plus. It's certainly nice to have one less bag kicking around your ankles. I actually have them all on the, you can see the door of it. That's a closet. That closet is full of whips and or projects that even haven't been started yet. Just here's the yarn, here's the pattern, let's put them together. So focus is the shawl. When I can't see the shawl anymore, then I'm going to work on the Woolf, and we'll keep plodding along till I get that done. And that's the plan, because she's running the auction, and I'd like to have it done in time that you can advertise it about the auction. So that's my story.
Great.
Anything else?
I have no voice. Well,
no.
I have a voice. It's just not my voice. And
it's making her upset, I think.
It's tiring.
Yes. It's hard to push air past vocal cords that don't want to react. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So we won't see you next week, but we'll see you the week after.
We should, yeah.
Yeah, because you said you'd be here for that Friday night.
That's that week? That's not that weekend, Mom. You're skipping like an entire month.
Oh. Well.
You skipped like the entire month of April there.
Oh, well. Then we're talking about March 27th.
March 27th.
It's next weekend.
March.
Today's the 20th.
Today is the 20th.
Next is March 22nd.
Yes.
Then it's April 3rd.
Then it is April 3rd. April 3rd, we should be here.
We should be back the weekend of April 3rd, barring any kind of unforeseen event. Yeah. Because I know we're not planning to go away unless something happens with Mom until after Easter. And then at that point, I think we are going to try to take that vacation that we thought we were going to take before Mom had a setback. But because she's doing well.
Good.
You know, her facility has my phone number, and they haven't had to use it recently, which is great. That is good. So we're doing fine. Hope you all are doing well. For those of you who are in the area where tornadoes hit, please pay attention to the tornado warnings. We had one a couple months ago, and it showed up on my watch, and I went into the basement. Richard kind of ran all over the house and finally ended up in the basement with me. It turned out the tornado came within yards of the house and actually skipped over our area and diagonally went across to Levittown. So although he makes fun of me, it was amazing to find out that we actually had been in the path, and thank goodness for my watch. So, you know, if you get a tornado warning, please heed it. It's better to be safe than sorry. We'd rather have you alive and breathing and doing your knitting rather than saying I should have gone down to the basement or wherever it's most protected. Yeah. Anyway, and these things tend to come in the spring as the weather changes. I'm listening to the wind roar outside the windows here. Anyway, it's spring today. Let's see. Oh, there's a new Time Team out on YouTube. I've watched the first, and they do it all on a weekend. So I've watched Friday, I've watched Saturday, and Sunday was out today.
Goodness.
So I'm going to watch that tonight.
Oh, goodness.
Bridgerton is out today.
No, I think it's next weekend.
Oh, next weekend. You sure?
Give me a second.
It was today.
I thought it was next weekend because I thought it was during the wedding.
Oh, well, it could be. We'll find out. Speaking of which, Netflix is going to try to cut down on the number of people that have your password.
No, still only one season.
Right. I did check last night.
So, no.
Did they say when?
Coming on Friday. So, yeah.
Coming on Friday. Okay, so next
on the
Friday.
25th.
Sorry, I pushed it up a week.
I thought so.
Bridget...
You did this with The Witcher, too.
I know.
We finally finished it.
I've got one more to watch.
Of Witcher?
Yeah.
It's good.
It is good.
It's good. Also, if you all want something that's lighter than The Witcher, but also fantasy, my boyfriend has been a big fan of Critical Role for a very long time. I never got into it just because I just didn't. It's always been on the outskirts of my knowledge. But they released on Amazon Prime their animation of their first campaign, which I've watched all but the last episode so far. It's very good. It's very funny. It's very niche, but also I think it's great. I've been watching it with my boyfriend who's listened
knows
to
all
it.
The story.
So he knows it's a D&D campaign. So when they're doing things and they have an action sequence, every time they have an action sequence, you have to roll for different moves or different, checks. So he knows all of those. And so he'll give me those little tidbits, which is fun.
There was an article out, and I don't remember where I read it. They were saying if you liked Witcher, there's some other things that you might want to watch. One is Dark Crystal. It's the old Jim Henson movie, and it's about
I think they redid it.
Overlords and underlings, but as Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
And I started watching it and then flipped to something else, months ago. So I think when I finish The Witcher, I will go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are a few others. So I think if you look them up on Google, you probably could find the others that might be along that same vein.
I think our next one in that vein in our fantasy series that we watch is going to be Wheel of Time.
Oh, okay.
Because that's one of his favorite book series, and I finally finished the first one. I finally got it back from the library.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very interesting concept.
There's also that one with the bear that we started watching, and I decided
his Dark Materials.
Yes, his Dark Materials.
Which is very good.
Very good, a little scary.
Yeah. Those
extra animals, somehow, when they were in the book, I could see them kind of just keeping them in my mind's eye. Now when they're real, it's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so those are what we're... But you finished Bridgerton.
So
you're good for the... And you've read them.
I've read
up through Colin. So I've finished Colin.
I have read all the Bridgertons. Then I've read about the Rokesbys. Then I've read about the extended family, the extended friends. I've read, I think, everything that she's written. And obviously it's formulaic. But, for a light read,
but it's
nice.
And I think it's not something that you have to read before you watch it.
No, you don't.
Because I didn't read the first one before I watched the series. And it was really nice to have faces to imagine while going through the rest of the books so far.
Right.
Especially because I really like the casting that was done. But yeah.
And, they talk about women's position in society at the various times of this. The Rokesbys actually happened before Bridgerton.
Okay. Is that Lady Bridgerton's family?
Yes, it is.
Violet.
No, it is not.
No.
No. The Bridgertons and the Rokesbys live next door to each other.
Ah.
And Lady Bridgerton's brother-in-law, the older brother
of her husband,
marries the oldest Rokesby girl. And so they get to know Violet that way.
So how is...
He must have died.
He must have died.
Yeah, George must have died because he was, and he was older than this play troupe. Because in the country, they really, were out on their horses. They were out doing things. And so he was a couple years older. He must have died because she did not marry George.
No.
So the Rokesbys happened the generation before. The Lady Bridgertons.
Violet is a Rokesby before she's a Bridgerton, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying she's not. We know the Bridgertons because George...
We know the Rokesbys because George married a Rokesby.
Right. And they talk about the brothers and brothers-in-laws and the sisters-in-laws and all of that. Yes. Anyway, the youngest Rokesby and the youngest Bridgerton of Violet's era, he is a physician. He goes to Edinburgh for medical school and is brought back for an honor thing and ends up marrying the youngest Rokesby. And she ends up being his helper. She's always been interested in science. Of course, they won't let a girl go to medical school. But when he sets up his private practice, she's the one that sews up, does the stitching. And, the patients are going, wait a minute, I want the doctor. And Nick will come in and go, she's the sewer. She's the one. She's much better at this.
Yeah.
You really want her. So it was interesting to see
how it was
the
written.
character's perception of what the various roles were. Yes.
Nice.
So yeah, it's certainly light and fluffy reading, but it's good. And I read it on my iPad while I knit, so I don't.
And I listen to it almost doing anything. It's in the back, like it's downloaded to my phone. I just haven't. I've been on a kick of a few other things recently. So yeah. I'm gonna go and rest my voice.
That's a plan. We will see you in about 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.